Now to have equal pay as men's in terms of match fees. I think firstly it should laud BCCI for that move. I think that's the first ever country who's done that, and that's India, and I'm really happy and proud to represent it. And
it will take some time, but it is important that the organizations everywhere should work towards getting equal pay parity for men and women, and reduce this disparity.
This is what India's top two female cricketers had to say about pay parity, something that reflects the current reaction to the bold decision taken by the ICC. The decision to pay equal prize money to the Women's World Cup champions as their male counterparts for the first time ever. The winners of the 2024 Women's T20 World Cup will now receive a prize money of $2.34 million, a 134% increase from the $1 million Australia received for winning the tournament in 2023. India, the winners of the 2024 Men's World Cup, were awarded $2.45 million earlier this year. The difference here comes due to the number of matches played by the teams during the two events, as the men's side sees 20 countries competing for the prize, while the women's side only has 10. But both World Cups are different, held at a different time, a different location, and just as important to win. So equal work, equal pay, right? Well, there was some elation in the world of cricket by the experts, big names applauding ICC's innings towards equalities. Days after Jai Shah's appointment as ICC president, the world outside was divided. To be precise, fairly one-sided. Scrolling through social media, we found responses such as equal revenue, equal pay, better performances, better pay, equal play, equal pay. One reasoning that catches attention, although, is the revenue made. Many believe that sponsors and brands tend to divert a huge chunk of money to men's as compared to the women's game. Broadcasters don't pay as much, viewer turnouts, merchandise, and tickets sold are way less. So the concern here is whether the money from the men's game will have to be diverted to the women, and thus the prize money should be equal in terms of percentage and not the absolute value. Another factor that even some experts agree to is visibility. The Indian men's team had their watershed moment in 1983 World Cup, and since then, cricket has been synonymous with sports in India. 2011 World Cup win solidified its prime galore, which the women's game still needs. Finalist at the 2017 ODI World Cup and 2020 T20 World Cup. Things have only started to change since the WPL, and better performances, let's agree, a trophy is all it might take to put a pause to the cacophony. And here is where the click comes, the other side of the story. If trophy, visibility and sponsors is the deal, Smriti Mandhana should be RCB's highest paid at the moment, right? One of the most popular franchises across the world. The Royal Challengers Bangalore won its first ever trophy in 16 years, credits to their women's team. But are there sponsorships or money deals touching the same sky? No. And in this situation, if it isn't the cricket bodies funding the women's game, who will? New Zealand Cricket Board and BCCI are the only two bodies who pay equal match fees to both of their men's and women's side, while Cricket Australia has a provision of contracts to domestic players and same base pay for both genders. And now ICC's decision for equal prize money comes off as a statement that no disparity for the women's game will be tolerated. The respect and pride in playing both the World Cup remains the same. And at the end of the day, it's your country you're playing for. What a perfect note on paper. But the reality in our country is still doom. Equal match fees for both genders. The men's team, however, played a total of 10 to 15 tests in 2023, while the women's team barely played 4. As per the schedule, the Indian men's will play around 145 matches from 2022 to 2027, while the number of matches for women's side is 75 from the year 2022 to 2025, excluding the major tournaments. This is when one reaches the international level. And let's face it, how many women in India get to reach the sports academies? Less than 30% according to a BBC report. And those who barely do get a sum of 10 to 20,000 to play for their domestic team as per reports. Underfunded, undersupported, under-recognized for years, the Indian women's cricket team has finally found a light of its own. And in a country where cricket drives sports, if they aren't compensated for their efforts, can we even imagine the situation for women in other sports? What do you think about this decision? Let us know in the comments below.